Hey coach, if you feel like you come across as needy or desperate on your sales calls, and you know that that is the exact reason you keep losing so many clients or signups on these sales calls, well, you're not alone. And I understand this very, very well because this used to be my life for quite some time. But it doesn't have to be that way. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what I did to solve this problem for myself so that you can take that solution and use it to grow your coaching business. Now, if we haven't met, hey, I'm Nathan, and I went from a struggling vocal coach to growing my coaching business to $5,000 plus per month while I was full-time employed. And since then, I've worked with over 1,000 coaches in my private online community, the Coaching Hub, to help them grow their coaching businesses. And here is what I have learned. You see, most coaches jump onto sales calls hoping and praying that the prospect on the other end of the call will sign up for their coaching program. In fact, they need them to sign up. Why? Because they need the money. Now, why is this a problem? Well, their desperation isn't just because they need the money, maybe to solve a problem in the home, maybe to solve a problem in their business, whatever that is. The problem isn't just because they are in need of money. The problem is that they have all of their eggs in this one basket. The basket in this case is the prospects on the call. And all of their eggs is the money they need to make. Now, why is this a problem? Well, for starters, sales is a numbers game. There are conversion rates in business. In sales, that conversion rate is a close rate. Your close rate is the number of people who sign up for your coaching program divided by the number of people who you pitch your program to on a sales call. So if you run 10 sales calls in a month and you land one client, then you have a 10% close rate, which means to get one paying client, you need to talk to 10 people. Now, yes, you can absolutely do things to improve your close rate. You could go from a 10% close rate to a 30, 40, even a 50% close rate. But even at a 50% close rate, you still have to talk to 10 people to get 5 clients, meaning you will hear 5 no's. Hey coach, quick reminder. If you know you have value to offer the marketplace, but you are struggling to grow your coaching business, then I would like to invite you to join my private online community, the Coaching Hub. When you join, not only will you get access to more than 1,000 coaches who are all in the community to both grow their coaching business and connect with other coaches who are there to do the same, but you will also get access to the Profitable Coach Roadmap. Now, this is my 3-day online training that will show you exactly how to lay the firm foundation on which all profitable coaching businesses are built. Because coach, no amount of sales and marketing can make up for a poor business foundation. You can both join the community and get access to the training for free. I look forward to connecting with you. Now let's get back to the video. Now, even if you have a 50% close rate, if you speak to one person, well, 50% of one is not a number. In other words, you're not going to make a sale. Or rather, the odds of you making a sale in that month is very scarce. You see, when you don't have enough sales calls in a month to match your close rate, the number of people who sign up for your coaching program, you are going to be desperate on the call and you're going to show it very clearly. That desperation will be the reason people don't sign up to work with you. You will lower your price, overpromise on what you can deliver for your clients. Instead of serving your client on a sales call, you'll be trying to sell them into working with you and you will ruin your expert positioning. This is only going to hurt you. And even if somebody signs up to work with you, when you over-deliver and drop your price, you're simply going to hate the process and you're probably not going to be able to deliver on your promise, which is going to hurt your reputation in the marketplace. Coach, you do not want to be in this spot. This is a bad spot to be in. Conversely, when your calendar is full of sales calls for the month, suppose you have 100 sales calls for this month. Even if you have a 10% close rate, you know that you're going to sign 10 clients. But that also means that you're going to get 90 no's. If your desperation or your need to close the sale stands in the way of you going through the 90 no's, which will lead to the 10 yeses, even if your coaching program was $1,000, 10 clients is $10,000 for that month. Coach, Sales is a numbers game. The way you fix desperation on a call, the way you don't lower your prices and overpromise on your delivery is to have way more people who would want to work with you than you have the capacity or desire to serve in the first place. So let me spell it out very clearly. If you are coming across as desperate on your sales calls because you need money, the problem isn't that you need money, but that you have all your eggs in one basket. In other words, you do not have enough sales calls booked for that month, and so it is actually unlikely that you are going to hit your sales targets. You need to have a calendar full of sales calls to maintain your expert positioning so you never have to discount your prices and you don't have to overpromise on what you can deliver for your ideal clients. If you have to drag your ideal clients in, you will have to drag them along. And if they barely pay to get access to your coaching program, they will barely pay any attention when they are in, and they will not take the actions that lead to the outcome. So, how exactly do you go about fixing this problem? How do you have more people who want to work with you than you have the capacity or desire to serve in the first place? How do you have a calendar full of sales calls so that even if you have to go through 90 no's, you still know that you're going to get 10 yeses that could potentially turn into $10,000 at $1,000 for your coaching program, and even $5,000 at $500 for your coaching program? In other words, you have a beautiful month. The key is lead generation. This means you're not only driving traffic from social media into your sales process, but your sales process is designed in such a way that people in your sales process reach out to you to jump on a call with you because they already believe you can help them solve their problems. Now, there are two ways to drive traffic to your offer. The first is inbound marketing, and this is what most coaches love. This is what all the gurus are selling on social media. You just need to post content, and somehow the algorithms from social media will take your posts to the people who need it the most, and those people will simply say, "Oh, let me jump on a call with this person. I'm certain they can help me." That is not the way it works, at least not in the beginning. When you make a post, social media algorithms will first show them to a percentage of people in your immediate network, so your followers. Then, based on how that post performs with that first percentage, approximately 10 to 20% of people, the algorithm will then show it to more people in your network, maybe 60 to 80% of people. And then, if your post does really good there, it'll start showing it to people outside of your network. And that's where the idea of going viral comes from. But that is easier said than done. And it is a strategy dependent on many factors you cannot control. For that reason, when it comes to driving traffic to your offer, I do not advocate for inbound marketing. In other words, simply posting on social media and hoping that your ideal clients see you and take you up on your call to action. Which brings me to outbound marketing. This is you taking a more aggressive approach to getting in front of your ideal clients. Here's the way I do this for my coaching business, and it's the exact same thing I teach all of my clients. I call it the 4C's method. You're going to comment, connect, converse, and then call to action. Now, I'm sure you can do this on other social media platforms, but I use LinkedIn Sales Navigator. If you want to try LinkedIn Sales Navigator out, you can get a 30-day free trial. And within those 30 days, you'll be able to reach out to 800 people to drive them to your offer. And if you aren't happy with it, you can cancel, never having to pay a cent. This is not an affiliate. I don't even have a link for you to click on. You'll simply have to Google it. Okay, so here's what happens. First, you make a highly targeted list of who your ideal client is. For me, I would simply go on LinkedIn Sales Navigator and I would look for coaches. And then I would also filter for coaches who have posted in the last 30 days. And finally, I might filter for coaches who have been in coaching for 3 to 5 years. Then LinkedIn will show me a ton of results, many leads that I can reach out to. This is literally called a LinkedIn lead list. So here's where the 4C's come in. First, I'm going to click on the profiles of one of those leads. I'm going to go through their social activity, look for one of the posts they make, then like that post, and I'm going to leave a comment, a meaningful comment. One that ends with a question, a meaningful question, not something like great post or awesome or a fire emoji. No, I'm actually going to read the post and then Ask a question related to that post. Here's why I ask a question. The goal is to start a conversation in public. Why? Because I'm not going to close anybody in public. I actually want to get into their DMs. And the way to increase the probability that someone talks to you in their DMs is to first get them to talk to you in public. Then, as soon as I leave that comment, I'm going to click connect with this prospect, and I'm going to connect with a personalized connection request. Here's what that might sound like. Hey Name, I just came across your post on topic. I really liked your perspective and I thought I'd connect. And then I'm going to end that connection request with a question because I'm trying to start a conversation. And so for me, I might say something like, noticed you're a coach too. How long have you been a coach? You can ask any kind of question. The goal is to simply start a conversation. Then, only once that person replies, I'm going to start a conversation with them to try to figure out if I can actually help them grow their business, because I already know what my offer is. I'm a coach who helps coaches grow their businesses. If that person who I prospect is in fact someone who needs help to grow their coaching business, I'm going to invite them to take the next step in my sales process. And that's the third C, converse. And so I might say, thank you for connecting, Name. 5 years as a coach, that's amazing. Why are you on LinkedIn? Just to connect with other people, or are you actually using the platform to grow your coaching business? You see? And then based on where the conversation goes from there, I'm eventually going to call them to action saying, either jump on a call with me, join my email list, join my community, whatever that is. But here's the real kicker. In a month, I'm going to do this 800 times. I'm going to do it with 800 people. Now, even if I get a 1% conversion rate, if 1% of the 800 people I reach out to become paying clients, that is 8 paying clients. Multiply that by whatever your coaching program costs, and that would be your revenue for the month. But this way, I'm not fighting the law of averages or my conversion rate. I'm working in alignment with the way things work. I am reaching out to way more people than I have the capacity or desire to serve in the first place. Now, if you would like help solving this problem for yourself, in fact, if you'd like to build a highly profitable coaching business, then I would like to invite you to book a free 45-minute one-on-one coaching session with me. I call it the Profitable Coach Audit and Action Plan. On this call, we will look at your business and your goals through the lens of sales, marketing, and fulfillment to identify what constraints exist that are preventing you from growing, because it is this simple. When you remove the constraints from your business, you will grow your business. And then based on what we find, I will give you an action plan that you can implement to solve this problem for yourself and grow your coaching business. If you're serious about growing your coaching business and you wish you had a proven process, a simple system, and personalized support, then click the link below, sign up for the audit, and I'll catch you in the call. I'll see you in the next video.